Jazz in the neighborhoods. That's the theme of the 9th annual Boston Jazz Week, which starts today and runs through May 3rd. The 10-day celebration of the music and our own unique local jazz scene ties in with the national observance of April as Jazz Appreciation Month. Here now to tell us about this is the multi-talented, multitasking saxophonist Ken Field. He's the leader of the Revolutionary Snake Ensemble, a member of Jazz Boston's board of directors, and a co-chair of JazzWeek. So I'm exhausted just reading a little bit of your resume.
I am too.
All right, but you're such an enthusiastic supporter of jazz in Boston. But maybe is JazzWeek part of letting people know the variety of venues for jazz or kinds of jazz? Because no one can even count the number of kinds of jazz, right?
Well, yeah, that's exactly. You hit the nail on the head. Jazz Week is an opportunity to spotlight all the amazing jazz that happens in Boston year-round. We pick a week when we can spotlight that. We focus on some of the things that are already happening in the clubs. There's a very active and vibrant club scene for jazz in Boston with over 225 venues that present jazz. But we also present a couple of things that we produce during this week to really celebrate what's going on, the diversity of jazz, as you say.
Now, jazz in the neighborhoods mostly is Roxbury. And we also know that there's a lot of people who love jazz, but they don't have money to go to a jazz club and buy the minimum number of drinks or whatever. Are there programs, and you know, this is obviously a rhetorical question, do you have anything to do with programs that teach kids what jazz is and offer them, you know, career opportunities, but open to their eyes that you may not make a huge fortune doing this? Is any of that true?
Well, that is true, and there are programs. This year we are indeed focusing on a few of the many neighborhoods in Boston. We're focusing on Roxbury and Mattapan, plus we're having house concerts in private homes throughout neighborhoods of Boston. This year we don't have a specific program oriented specifically towards children during Jazz Week, but we have through the years, Jazz Boston has done quite a number of educational programs, and there's information at our website about all of that. And it's an important part of what Jazz Boston does and what we need to do to bring young people in.
Now, Boston is known for music. If there's one art form that Boston is known for, it's music. And there's classical music, but also jazz is very important here. Is this a place where people can make a career out of jazz, or does one have to have another subsidiary career?
A subsidiary career.
Yeah, well,
I like that.
Think of it.
Well, I think music in general and the creative arts in general are difficult ways to make a living. And if you're lucky, and I've been lucky, you can make a living playing music and even jazz. And more importantly for me, I've found a way in Boston, which has such a vibrant scene, to make a living playing creative music, improvisational jazz, creative jazz, and many people have. And many people have come out of Boston studying at our great jazz educational institutions, and with all of the students here makes a very built-in audience for the kind of music we do, very open-minded audience, and then gone on to amazing careers, either still in Boston or elsewhere. It's incredible to me as I travel around the world how many amazing musicians spent time in Boston, amazing jazz musicians, in fact.
If you have a unique kind of jazz, and you're experimenting even for yourself, how receptive are audiences to that? Or are people saying they want something that's different? They don't want something that's they've heard a million times on a recorded form?
You know, it varies from person to person. Every single person is different depending on their experience, what they've heard before. What I try to do, and I think a lot of musicians try to do, is reference things that people are familiar with, that they've heard before, that they can relate to, but also push the envelope in some other way at the same time. So with the groups that I play with, the Revolutionary Snake Ensemble and others, we are based in New Orleans Mardi Gras music. It's something that a lot of people can relate to and feel is fun and engaging and exciting. But we push it in different ways to make what we do a little bit different, a little bit new. And that's the great thing about jazz. It's an improvisational art form. And people push things in a new direction every time they play a note because they're improvising. They're performing spontaneously. They're coming up with new things every second when they're playing jazz. And so they're always, by definition, pushing things in a creative way, doing new things, but still, in general, referencing the tradition.
That people can compare it to. Finally, the website for JazzWeek, how can that be best used? First of all, by somebody who doesn't know that much about jazz, and then a real jazz aficionado who's not really interested in anything unless it's something out there and they haven't seen it before. So how differently might they use that website?
Well, the website, which is jazzboston.org, which talks about Jazz Week and all the other activities that our organization does, there is a schedule of events, of jazz events, performances, etc., that people can go to. There's background information. There's many different projects. So people could take a look at jazzboston.org, and there's something there for everyone, really.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Congratulations. I know you work on this year after year and, you know, bring more people to it. And the, you know, this is a skill that we all need more is to know the wide array of jazz. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.